Hi, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Buyer First Interviews. I am your host, Carol Mahoney. And if you haven't tuned into our series yet, you are in for a treat today because we have the incredible, the awesome, the power lifter, Lee Salz here with us today. And we're
Where?
going to be talking, where is he? Yes, where'd he go? We're going to be talking today about good buying experiences, bad buying experiences, and what we can learn as sellers and managers and how we're going to create this ideal buying experience. Now, if you don't know who Lee is, well, then you are missing out. He is the founder and CEO of Sales Architects, an internationally renowned sales management strategist that specializes in building world-class sales forces. He's helped hundreds of companies in industries and sizes of varying shapes develop strategies, processes, and tools that they need. And that results in explosive and profitable growth. He is an entrepreneur, he is a best-selling author, and like me, is a results-driven sales consultant and an award-winning keynote speaker. Was named the 2022 Speaker of the Year by the Institute of Sales Excellence. Now, as a best-selling award-winning author of 6 business books, I didn't know that there were 6, Lee. His most recent one, Sales Differentiation and Sell Different, have been called the 1-2 punch that every salesperson needs to differentiate what and how they sell to win more deals at the prices that they want. Because it's not about what you sell, it's about how you sell. Now, his 7th book, which is focused on discovery strategy, is in development now, and it's going to be published in the fall of 2025. So we're way up ahead of the game here, Lee. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Now, you have actually in your book, Sell Different, you talk about some buying experiences and how we can differentiate ourselves in that buying experience. This is why I was so thrilled that you were going to join us today. Can you tell us a little bit about, well, let's start with the bad buying experience, shall we? Can you tell me a little bit about what it was that you were trying to accomplish or do or buy and where you ended up with that?
So I have a very, very recent story, but I was not directly involved with it. I just heard about it.
Oh,
So my son, Steven, that you read about in chapter 1 of Sell Different,
yeah.
When that book was written, when that story was written, he was heading into college. He's now a college senior.
Wow.
And was going through the process because he's graduating now of signing a lease for an apartment with his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've been touring different buildings. And he comes home this one day and he's all fired up. He's like, I went to this one building and there is no way I'm renting there. Like, really? Tell me about that. He goes, they rushed everything. They didn't show us a sample apartment. They wouldn't show us the amenities, nothing. I'm not renting there.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept going on and on and on about the experience. And I said, so now you understand what I do for a living. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, it had nothing to do with what they were selling, right? The building was gorgeous. Oh, yeah, it's a gorgeous building.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. And it's in a location you're in. Oh, yeah, it'd be a great location. But the experience, this one salesperson was the brand. And he developed a perception of the product based on the experience with this individual.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Yeah.
Signed a lease elsewhere. Deal lost. Because he was going to sign somewhere, and this salesperson, because of how they sold, lost the deal.
Right. And even though it was probably a better product, or in this case, a better apartment building, it was that experience that turned him off from it. And
absolutely,
so often I bad experiences that I've had, as well as others that I've heard have shared theirs. One of the things that they always say to me is that if this is how the experience is going to be in the beginning, what's it going to be later on when I give them my money?
Amen.
Right?
Absolutely.
So what was most important for, like in this story, for your son? What was the most important thing for him in that process that set this, the one that he ended up renting from, apart from the others?
So the one he rented from had a delightful experience. As a matter of fact, my daughter and her boyfriend also rented in that same building, which is really nice, having 2 of my kids in the same apartment building in downtown Minneapolis. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But the experience was totally different. Totally different. The woman was warm and welcoming, showed the apartment, took their time with my son and his girlfriend, and came across genuinely interested in them as people, not just saying, let me grab your wallet.
Right. Yeah.
And that message really rang true for him. Really was a strong takeaway message for him.
And one of the things that occurs to me as we're talking about this is, everyone's talking about AI and how AI is going to replace salespeople and is going to, put all of these different things. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking people still want to buy from people. They still want to have that human experience, that personal, like
Yes.
that's something AI can't do. AI can't differentiate the buying experience when you're selling one human to another human. I'm curious what your thoughts are on that, though.
I believe, and I've actually written an article because this AI is just the latest thing saying that salespeople are going to go away.
Along the list of things in the last 20 or so years.
Right. The internet was going to get rid of salespeople. Here's the thing. If salespeople aren't providing meaningful value in the buying experience, they deserve to lose their job.
Mm-hmm.
If I could have the same experience going online and buying that widget, buying that product, buying that service as I would interacting with you, you don't deserve to be here.
Mm-hmm.
So salespeople, I always tell them, like, you need to wake up every single day and challenge yourself with this question. What is it that I can do today that my buyers will find meaningful tomorrow? In other words, what investment can I make in myself to enhance my knowledge and skills that my buyers will find meaningful tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
And that's 7 days a week, holidays, every single day, challenging yourself with that.
I
If
would
not,
add to
you
that
will
too.
go the way of the dodo.
Yeah. And if you think about it, what is the things that are going to be meaningful to my buyers? But then one of the things that I also tell my salespeople when I'm coaching them is, what is the thing that your competition can't or won't do?
Right?
If that's another way for you to differentiate and create an experience that sets you apart from everyone else. Like
Mm-hmm.
even the example with the apartments, one example you have them being treated basically like a number, which nobody
Yes.
likes that.
Yes.
You might as well have had a robot and a computer going through that, because if that's the kind of experience you want, then that's easy to get.
Yeah.
But so being treated like a number versus that warm welcoming, taking their time with them, asking and answering questions and actually taking a genuine interest in them as a human being, sometimes that's all that's required to differentiate yourself. We've spent so much time talking about value propositions and positioning statements and elevator pitches, and
Mm-hmm.
forget sometimes that the differentiation is just being a better human.
So one of my favorite questions to ask salespeople: on any given day, how
Mm.
many conversations do you have with prospects and clients? Phone, email, in person? They'll say 15, 20, 25, 30. Say, okay. How many conversations did each one of those 30 have with your company that day?
Right.
One. And
Hmm.
we forget to make people feel special. It's just another call. It's just another meeting. It's just another presentation. It's just another proposal.
Yeah.
And it's such a simple thing to care and make people feel special. Everybody wants to talk about price. Well, if you think about those people you enjoy doing business with, it's not because it's cheap. It's
Hmm.
because how you feel interacting with them. If they make you feel lousy, you're not going to want to buy from them,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And we all have countless experiences of those where we truly enjoy doing business with them.
Hmm. Hmm. I had an experience a couple of years ago. I had to have my thyroid removed due to thyroid
Mm.
cancer.
Oh my gosh.
And I sat down with the doctor, and it was kind of like that experience that your son had at first, right? Like he's just kind of going through things and rushing through things. When you hear the word cancer, your entire world stops.
Hmm.
And I remember at one point I was just sitting there like in numb shock with this doctor. And he's
Hmm.
kind of like just rapid fire going through this, and we're going to do this, this, and this, and this. And I'm like, I know that you deal with this every day, but this is the first time I've dealt with this. And this is the first time my family has dealt with this. So can we just take it back a moment and slow down for a second? And he just kind of looked at me and he was like, yeah, sorry. I didn't, like they're just going from one thing to next, like our salespeople are, and not even realizing that, yes, this is a human being who
Yes.
has risk factors in mind and fear in mind, and they're going through a big change. And really, sales is about helping them to reduce the fear and risk of change, and that's what
Hmm.
change management is all about. So selling isn't about the widgets, it's about how do you help people manage change.